My kind of definition of what Interfaith does and why we're here is all around poverty alleviation. One of the biggest symptoms of poverty in our community is homelessness. So we offer a lot of services for people who are living without a place to call home. And that's a lot of services. So we offer a comprehensive approach where we fit the needs of each individual on whatever their unique situation is. So that could be everything from support finding a job to shelter, food, addiction treatment and recovery, over 75 programs that meet each individual's need based on their circumstances to help them get back on their feet.
The formal mission statement is that Interfaith empowers people in need to stabilize and improve their lives. I think that's critical and speaks to what Fiona was saying. We work with people who are often in crisis. So we empower people to stabilize and improve their lives through comprehensive programs. That's something we're very proud of as well, that when you enter our services, we have a variety of programs to support our clients and in partnership with diverse faith communities and people of compassion. So that speaks to, we're non-denominational, not a faith-based organization, but our origin is. And it came together through faith communities that came together for a greater good. So we still honor that in our mission statement and in our work, and then everyone else who also cares about the community. So that's the formal mission. Tagline that we do associate with the organization is "We help people help themselves," and that is a nod to that. The client is just as much an active participant as our staff are, and it's a partnership. So helping people help themselves is a short way of saying what we do.
So one of the programs that I manage and sites that I manage is the Carlsbad Service Center. So we have been fortunate enough to be recipients of some of the CCF funds. I also manage our Transitional Youth Academy program, which has also received funds from CCF. So thank you for that support. When we received the funding for our program here at the Carlsbad Service Center, it made a huge impact. It was right at the height of COVID. We were receiving so many more requests for services, so much more requests for rental assistance than we had ever received in any of our years here. And the funding allowed us to get an intake specialist, and we've been able to keep that intake specialist since we received that funding, because it's just such a vital position within this site. It allowed us to properly screen all of those individuals and make sure that those individuals who were in the most need were getting seen first. It allowed us to be able to properly organize ourselves and our caseload to be able to support more individuals. So it's really made an impact in terms of our operations, but that impacts our client services here. So our clients were able to receive immediate answers, to always have a phone answered, to always have a face, for when they're arriving, which is not something that we were able to do before. So having that face in a moment of crisis, somebody that will always be there to address their needs, has been crucial in our clients feeling connected to the site and trusting the site. So we were very grateful for that. And then, of course, the funding that was provided to the Transitional Youth Academy program, we were able to provide an on-site case manager at Carlsbad High School. And so through that program, not only were we able to support those most vulnerable youth within that school, but their families as well. So when Jana talked about that comprehensive services, anything that we provided out of our Carlsbad Service Center, we were typically able to provide at that school site for those families as well. And transportation for families and families who are having to work 2 or 3 jobs, being able to connect right there when they're dropping off their student, picking them up, was really important. I'll share this story because it really shares the collaboration and the comprehensive services that we provide. So we had a family that was referred over to our Transitional Youth Academy program at Carlsbad High School because the family was experiencing homelessness. Had defined homelessness, but they were couch surfing essentially. And the family was separated. Mom might stay somewhere else other than the student. So the students might just go stay with friends because they didn't want, their friends to know that they were experiencing homelessness. So from that connection with the student, we were able to then refer the family over to our Carlsbad Service Center. So we were able to work with the youth within the Carlsbad High School site to provide just that social emotional support to help increase academics, to help increase engagement with the school. And then on the other side, we were able to provide that support to the family. We found out that what happened is that the father had been laid off, so we were able to provide that emergency rental assistance. We were able to provide vocational case management to help that father get employed, eventually moving them back into their own house. So that was one that was really great to see all of those, that coordinated care between our programs.
One of the outcomes for our 2021 grant with you guys was to prevent or immediately reverse homelessness for our clients. And one of the most important things is being able to quickly divert an individual out of homelessness before it can prevent and cause traumatic experiences for them, right? And it has a potential cost savings for millions of dollars. And so being able to use the financial assistance for our clients, the center was able to provide assistance to 38 households, including up to 114 clients. And that is massive. That's 114 individual people prevented from entering homelessness. And that is from direct support from Carlsbad Charitable Foundation. That included 65 adults and 49 children. Interfaith also was able to provide emergency food and hygiene kits to 665 Carlsbad individuals in the year 2021 alone. I want to highlight the weight of that number. That's 665 people in the Carlsbad community that were treated with dignity. That's 665 people that were provided basic needs. Without these fundamental services, individuals cannot maintain their physical health and well-being, let alone bring themselves out of homelessness.
I just heard this quote today, and it kind of goes to speak with what Logan was saying. I was overhearing a client who was utilizing our pantry services, and she was like, "Oh man, I forgot my Walmart bag." She's like, "Last time I came in, you gave me a big giant reusable Walmart bag." And she goes, "I brought it every single time, and I forgot it today. And I was so nervous that I forgot it. And I realized, what are you nervous for? They got you into housing. You have an apartment. You don't need to store and take all of this food all at once. You could come back. Your food won't go bad." So it was just a real kind of sweet moment.
Yeah.
And comment. It was like she realized, oh, okay, wait, I'm not in crisis anymore. Like I could kind of breathe a little bit.
Interfaith's comprehensive approach is really what sets us apart. We recognize the uniqueness of each individual, both their strengths, what makes them incredible, but also different challenges. So someone might lose their housing because they chose to pay a medical bill for their kid. Someone else might lose their housing because they're struck by addiction. So there's so many different components that go into each individual's unique story. And for me, the reason I work at Interfaith is because of that, because I think that I wouldn't be where I am today without my support system around me. And for people that don't have a support system, I think that's what Interfaith is. It's someone in your corner, not just advocating for you, but teaching you how to advocate for yourself. Whatever that means. If that means a box of food and you're ready to talk next week about why you need the box of food, or if that means you need addiction treatment or someone in your family needs help. So I think that for me, that's why the comprehensive approach is so important and so critical to our mission, and really what makes us unique too, because we see the whole person and address that.
I'd also just add that I think at one level, Interfaith is primarily organized around a professional social worker model. We use a lot of case social workers who are case managers, and they follow a process which lends itself to having comprehensive services, because every individual and family has kind of similar screening and processes to go through to build a plan together. And then the agency has become broad enough where every case manager also is able to access into all those services for their client. But, that's kind of like the dry part. And I would say with Fiona, I know one of the things that really was amazing coming to work for a place like Interfaith is you see people go above and beyond all the time. We have tons of volunteers, all these faith communities still involved. And so there's a lot that happens that isn't dry, isn't, just, okay, we're doing this widget of service. People really do go above and beyond, I think, to just make things happen for people. So I think that's something that's hard to quantify, but I know we all see it every day. But there is a core plan there that actually is more professionally based, that does make sure that every client is screened and that a plan is developed that is going to give them more comprehensive services. So that's available even if they just come to the pantry. I mean, they can just come to the pantry, but they can also come to the pantry and then be connected to more services.
Here at our Carlsbad location, we are a very small site. I'm not sure if you've ever been here, but we only have 3 offices and we have a large food pantry. So we don't necessarily have the space for volunteers here. But we do have volunteers who come and help with our food pantry, making sure that our warehouse is organized, distributing food. And we are in the process of re-engaging volunteers here in this site so that we can continue to provide additional services and support in other key locations where families within the community of Carlsbad are, to make sure that we're easily accessible, because we are in a location that some families do find challenging to come to. So we are working on re-engaging our volunteers, but because we're such a small site, we had to take a step back from that, especially during COVID, because we could only have so many people in here at once, and because we're also we're all very close. So it was very important to stay safe and healthy.
Another point of engagement for the community is that people do a lot of drives for food, for hygiene items, and other things like that. And then that's another way that people can be involved with that. The youth program, we've done a lot of adopting a scholar type thing. So those students, like when they have needs for the payments for graduation night and other related things, we've had people sponsor that. So it's a little different than voluntary, but that's another way that the community's been really engaged with some things that Carl.
Yeah, I would also say I think engaging volunteers starts with just people wanting to make a difference, right? They're looking for any way possible. And one of the first people that bring up to them is Interfaith, right? And they come to us and we provide tours. We'll let people know what services we provide. We'll show them where the need is. And then we have a bunch of volunteer opportunities for them. So it's really getting out there. It's one, people searching for how to help people, but then also us going out and communicating with them. So we communicate through all our external communications like social media, with the news. And so our Change Your Mind event that's coming up. So we really try to attack it as many ways as possible. But at the same time, I think it really cuts down to people wanting to make a difference. And Interfaith is that nonprofit that's near them. And we have so many volunteers that have just like the most amazing stories and how they found Interfaith and why they stick with us. We have volunteers that have worked with us for 10 plus years. And I think it's all at the core of just wanting to make a difference.
I think the way we raise awareness is just how we also accomplish our mission, which is in partnership with public, private, but more really in partnership of people of compassion, right? Just like our mission says. So we rely on and have a critical need for over 3,000 volunteers every year. And then we also rely on, and because of the support of our community, both community foundations like Carlsbad Charitable Foundation, also our donors, our just community supporters, individuals in our community, like they're the reason that we are able to do what we do. The way we engage people is many ways, right? It's through our platforms on our social media. It's through opportunities like this. Any opportunity to engage someone who wants to make a difference, we're open to having them join us in our work.
I think also going back to the founding of Interfaith and the connection we have with different congregations all over North County, San Diego, when there is a need, we are able to reach out to them, and they tend to show up with open arms to come help us, right? And so there's that helps spread the word very quickly. We have our dedicated volunteer base and donors that we can reach out to in person through email. I started working here in July, and I've just been amazed at the way this company works and the way the community surrounds and are constantly and consistently trying to find ways to help people.
I would also like to add that I would really give a lot of praise to our direct service staff, because another way that we engage people is through our own clients and their word of mouth. Because our direct service team is so great in the work that they do, treating our clients with respect, treating them with dignity, we try to make sure that all of our spaces are warm and inviting for clients. I think that really makes a big difference too, and helps to engage others, whether that's, to bring them in for services because they're in need of help, or just sharing their own story and how we have helped them.
We did a soft launch, but we will be formally and officially rolling out in 2024. Interfaith is launching and committing to a campaign to end family homelessness in San Diego County, one family at a time. That includes comprehensive services across the board, so more to come. And for example, we're going to start by identifying how many families need help. And so we're still working with our leadership teams and our direct service staff on identifying how we're going to roll this out, but Interfaith has already made the public commitment and pledge to do so, ending homelessness for families, one family at a time. And my team here has some notes on that campaign, and that's going to be a multi-year campaign, which will include everything that we do, since we know that everyone's situation needs different facets of support.
That's a very exciting initiative, and would benefit Carlsbad, would have full access to the type of, it's sort of like we've always been working on homelessness, including family homelessness, but this is, we've received a very large commitment over 5 years from the Bezos Day One Fund. And we, I think that has really, now we feel like we can make a bold commitment to truly trying to make sure no family is homeless in San Diego. And again, it's rolling out, but that's an exciting, project. I want to be honest, the Carlsbad Service Center is not always fully funded. It doesn't just have streams of funds coming in, keeping the doors open and the lights on and the beautiful staff there. So I would say it's very, very still so needed to just have operating support so that we can keep a center that's actually in Carlsbad and there and part of the community and has staff there and is open enough hours and all of that. And I let her speak to that. But, we still, are looking every single year at how do we keep that center open.
Our Carlsbad Service Center is very unique because of where we are located. We're located right down the street, about a block or two away from La Posada Men's Shelter. It's literally right around the corner. So we are able to not only provide support to their clients, but also to a lot of our individuals who are experiencing street homelessness in the area. So I really look at the center as more of a drop-in center. We have our lobby, which kind of serves as a training and meeting place for individuals. We provide snacks every morning, snack lunches. We have a computer lab that is open for them at all times. So a little different than some of our other service locations where it's kind of either walk-in hours or, client meetings. We're kind of open all the time, which is great for our clients, especially those who are experiencing street homelessness. With our great partnership with the Carlsbad HOT, the Homeless Outreach Team, we are able to back them up with support as well for for those individuals who they're moving, from homelessness into shelter and then into housing. This month alone, we already have 4 individuals who are matched with rapid rehousing. So they will be moving from homelessness into housing within, the next month or so. But as I said, we're a small site. Right now, we only have funding to cover 2 case managers. We have already served just in this fiscal year, so over the past, 6 months. At a time when we didn't always have 2 case managers, we only had 1. We've already served 219 clients and provided 715 services. So, with our little team, we're small but mighty. But if we had more resources to fund another, case manager and other positions here and just our general operating expenses, that would make even more of an impact. Serving 219 clients, providing rental assistance support, ensuring that families have remained housed. We've had 11 families within the past 4 months that we have provided rental assistance to, making sure that they were not displaced from their homes. So that's the work that we do here. We're gonna keep on trucking, but yes, having operations covered would ease that stress a little bit.
I wanted to just acknowledge that Carlsbad Charitable Foundation has been supporting Interfaith for over a decade. That's something so important to highlight. Our Carlsbad Service Center wouldn't be what it is today without your guys' support. I was talking to Mary and I found that our Carlsbad Service Center started in a trailer, and now we have a center, right? And now we have a pantry and 2 case managers, and the support and the services we're able to provide have become more because of Carlsbad Charitable Foundation. I want to first just acknowledge that and tell you we appreciate that so much. The Carlsbad Charitable Foundation has ensured that all our neighbors can prosper and thrive. And again, making sure to note that when we say rental assistance, it's the make or break for these people. The rental assistance that they get keep them afloat. It allows them to keep going to work. It allows them to keep taking their kids to go to school, to keep getting fed. It saves lives. And because of you were able to distribute $78,000 into the community in 2021 alone. Something I'd like to bring up too, kind of talking about how you guys have supported Interfaith for so long. Something I was going through our grants, you guys had supported a fund called Hope Through Housing Fund. It is now called, what is it? Providing Hope, yeah. So let me restate and I'll go back a little bit. So back in 2014, Carlsbad Charitable Foundation funded Hope Through Housing Fund, and which is now known as Providing Hope. What makes this fund so special is that often foundations and grants will fund a very specific need, right? And they're all needed, but sometimes there's things, because we go by individual case-by-case situation, those needs aren't covered by the funds. And this specific fund allows us to take those resources and help that client. We had a client that car broke down and they have to go to work so then they can provide for their family, and they had no way to fix their car. And so from our Providing Hope Fund, we were able to get their car fixed so then they could keep going to work and stay afloat. There's another example. We had a couple that were living in a tent, and the husband had a heart attack, and so they were in the hospital, and she was there with them the entire time recovering. And one of the things that happened is while they were in the hospital, all their belongings were stolen. And so we were able to use that fund to replace the things that they lost. And then while helping them, we actually found that the most sustainable way to get them help was actually in Pennsylvania. We found that one of their family members actually had a home for them to stay. If we could use the resources from funds here, right, would be way more costly than to actually just buy them a plane ticket to Pennsylvania. And so it's things like that where when we have so many foundations helping us in so many different needs getting covered, sometimes there's other needs that aren't covered. And that's something that Carlsbad Charitable Foundation did do here at Interfaith.
The new grant cycle, and I think the theme kind of was inspiring to try to think about. So I know that's not what this call is about, but it did kind of change the conversation around, because I think You hear we have a very specialized clientele that comes into the Carlsbad Service Center. They're very focused on that. But I think it made us think about how do we engage the wider community more and not be so just focused on just that. So it's actually kind of exciting. Got us to talk about some different ideas. So we're looking forward to that.